You've probably experienced this moment before, even if you didn't realize it was happening at the time. You walk into a place like a coffee shop, an office, or a casual gathering with friends. At first, nothing seems unusual. You're just standing there or moving through the room like everyone else. But suddenly you feel something subtle happening around you. Someone glances at you for a second longer than normal, and then another person notices too. Without saying a word, attention quietly shifts in your direction. Most men assume this happens because of looks, height, or some kind of mysterious confidence, but the real reason is usually much simpler and far more psychological. The truth is that before anyone hears your voice or learns your personality, they see something else. They see the signals your clothing sends about you. And before you dismiss that idea, think about something you've seen many times in real life. Two men can walk into the same room and look almost equally attractive. Yet one of them immediately stands out while the other somehow fades into the background. Same environment, same people, same moment in time. But one man receives attention without effort, while the other remains almost invisible. That difference is rarely about genetics, it is about perception. And perception is shaped by signals the human brain reads in seconds. One of the strongest signals comes from the way a man dresses. If you enjoy understanding the hidden psychology behind attraction, confidence, and social influence, then subscribing to this channel is one of the smartest decisions you can make. Most people go through life guessing about relationships and human behavior without understanding the deeper patterns. But here, we break those patterns down so you can actually see what others miss. Once you understand these psychological triggers, you start noticing them everywhere around you, and suddenly, social interactions make far more sense. Now, here is something fascinating about the female brain when it notices a man. It does not analyze details the way people imagine. Women are not mentally listing items like shoes, shirt quality, or brand names. Instead, their brain makes a fast emotional judgment. In a fraction of a second, it asks a simple question about the man it sees. Is this person interesting enough to deserve attention? That question happens automatically, without conscious effort, and clothing quietly helps answer that question. Human beings evolved to read signals extremely quickly for survival. Our ancestors had to judge strangers immediately, friend or threat, confident or insecure, leader or follower. Those instincts still operate inside the modern brain. Your clothing becomes one of the first signals people read about you. It communicates information before you say a single word. Imagine a man entering a room wearing loose, wrinkled clothes and worn-out shoes. Nothing about him looks terrible, but nothing looks intentional either. He blends into the environment because his appearance follows the same pattern as everyone else. The brain labels him as familiar and moves on. Now imagine another man walking into the same room a moment later. His clothes fit properly, and everything looks simple but deliberate. A clean jacket shapes his shoulders, and his shoes look sharp but relaxed. Suddenly, the room reacts slightly differently. People look up for a moment, even if they do not realize why they did it. That reaction comes from a powerful brain habit called pattern recognition. When the brain sees something slightly different from the norm, it automatically pays attention. Difference creates curiosity. But the deeper signal clothing sends is not style alone. The deeper signal is competence. When someone looks put together, the brain unconsciously assumes other qualities about them. It assumes discipline, awareness, and a certain level of control. Psychologists call this the competence heuristic. It is a mental shortcut our brains use to judge people quickly. If a person manages their appearance carefully, the brain assumes they manage other parts of life too: career, responsibilities, and personal standards. Of course, this assumption is not always accurate, but the brain forms it instantly anyway. And those instant impressions influence attraction more than most people realize. But something even more interesting happens after that. Women do not just notice clothes themselves. They notice the emotional energy those clothes create. Think about a time when you wore an outfit that somehow changed how you felt. Maybe it was a jacket that fit perfectly, or boots that made you stand taller. Suddenly, your posture improved and your movements felt more confident. Your voice sounded slightly calmer. Psychology has a name for this phenomenon. It is called enclothed cognition. Your brain begins to adopt the traits associated with what you are wearing. Clothing literally influences your behavior. If you dress carelessly, your brain relaxes into a careless state. If you dress intentionally, your brain becomes more aware and present, and people around you feel that shift, even if they cannot explain it logically. Your nervous system broadcasts signals through body language. That is why some men claim they do not care about style, but then they wonder why nobody seems to notice them. Another psychological factor also plays a huge role in attraction. It is the power of contrast. The human brain naturally searches for differences in its environment. When everything looks the same, attention disappears. Walk through any busy street or public place and observe something interesting. Most men dress in almost identical ways. Loose hoodie, basic jeans, ordinary sneakers, neutral colors everywhere. Nothing about the appearance interrupts the pattern. When the brain sees a repeating pattern, it stops paying attention. It becomes visual background noise. But when someone introduces a small difference, the brain immediately reacts. That difference becomes a pattern interrupt. Maybe it is a well-fitted jacket or clean, minimalist shoes. Maybe it is a simple watch that adds personality. The change does not need to be dramatic. It just needs to break the pattern slightly. And when patterns break, curiosity begins. Curiosity always pulls attention.
Clothing that attracts attention often tells a subtle story about the person wearing it. The brain naturally wants to understand that story. Is this man creative, calm, confident, adventurous, or disciplined? Your appearance creates the first chapter of that story.